Hey folks, it's Down Home with Tina. I am on location at the Lancaster Campground. Really excited because I have got some really cool guests today, fun ones. One happens to be furry, and you're going to get to see her do some fun stuff, hopefully at the end of the show. But what I'm meaning by that is I've got my first responder of the month. He is new K9 handler for the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, and he has got K9 Rafa with him, so it's really going to be a lot of fun. Also, I talk and catch up with James Ellinger, who is also the general manager at the Lancaster Campground, just finding out some of the cool things and wonderful things that they've got going on and what's happening here at the campground, because it's a really neat and fun place just to support, come out and see, and maybe relax at some point. Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It is Down Home with Tina.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our two locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Dagger Law has been part of the Lancaster community for more than 110 years. This is where we live and work. You'll see us at festivals, sporting events, and all around town. We consider our clients as friends, and we walk alongside you through challenging times. Whether you're a growing business, a changing family, facing litigation, planning your future, or dealing with land issues, we're right here. We are local. We are trusted. We are experienced. Dagger Law.
Welcome back to Down Home with Tina. We are on location at the Lancaster Campground, and I'm really excited because I get to have all my guests are special, but we've got I call fur baby, but she's really not a fur baby, because if she's coming out to see you, you probably don't want her to come see you.
That's right.
Unless it's for something like we've got going on today. I had asked the newest K9 deputy, Jordan Webb, to be with me, or handler. They also call you all handlers.
Yes.
To bring out your newest K9
Rafa.
Rafa, to the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Yeah, so you're out here I just want to hear your story and talk about her and what it is that it takes to even be a handler, and all of that. You as a deputy sheriff, why you decided to get into this career of law enforcement and such. So if you'll share a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, Jordan Webb with the Sheriff's Office. Been at the office for about 15 years. I started in 2007, right out of high school. I met a deputy at a festival. He said, hey, you should come do a ride-along with me. I did a ride-along. Next thing you know, I started doing more ride-alongs. I was already in Hocking College for the police science program.
Oh.
And then I just kept pursuing that and thought, this is pretty fun. As he was out doing things, I just sat in the car on the ride-along and thought, yes, this is definitely the route I want to take. And I just kept going, and then got hired on.
Yeah. To the Sheriff's Office.
Yeah. I graduated the police academy, which I did a 6-month academy down at Hocking. Took my state tests, which was not fun, and then applied at the Sheriff's Office and went through their interview process and got hired.
Nice, and you've been there ever since. So
yes, this is the only place I've worked since 21.
What part of the county have you spent most of those, or have you been all over?
So 8 years of working there at the office. I worked in a jail for 8 years, day shift, third shift, second shift, and then in about 2000, I think, 11 or 13, I don't remember the exact year, I went up to Canal Winchester to work, where we have a contract with the city of Canal. Winchester, it's in Fairfield and Franklin, so you had to learn the Franklin County side of the courts. And if you would arrest someone on the Franklin side or traffic tickets on the Franklin side, you would have to put them through the Franklin County court system.
That's interesting, because you had the authority to be able to do that.
Yes, just in their city limits there.
Yeah. Oh wow.
So I was up there for a couple years, actually till December of 2021, and then in 2021 I applied for the K9 position, got interviewed, went through a couple interviews, got accepted, and then April 11th of this year, Rafa and they handed me her leash and they said, take her home. And I went through 6 weeks of schooling with her. She was already trained. She came from France. And
wow.
Where the Storm Dog Tactical in Sunbury, Ohio, purchased her. They interviewed me before they got her. They pick the kind of dog that suits your family, where you live, your personality and everything. So I guess this is the one they picked for me, and she's an amazing dog.
So what do you think though after you get her and you see her personality?
Yeah, I know, right?
This is really reflects
This is me?
Yeah. No, she's amazing.
She is a great dog.
So amazing. Why did you decide that you wanted to become a K9 deputy or handler?
So I always had dogs before. Did well with dogs. I always liked how just their knowledge of what they're doing, their obedience and stuff. And then we had Deputy Sean Malloy was a K9 when I was on the streets, and just watching what he would do with the dogs and how they can alert to narcotics and what their trained odors are. I thought, why not take the next route and apply, and I luckily got accepted.
She's with you 24/7?
Yeah, so she comes home, she's with my family. We had to change just some small things at the house. I have 2 boys, so of course, running through the house, doing things, tackling each other. I just told him, she normally does pretty good around him. I just had to tell him, hey, be careful doing these things, jumping on me, but so far, she does great.
Does her personality change from when she's on the job and when she is
most definitely.
So like us, probably.
Yeah, so most definitely when I put my uniform on, now she picks up on, hey, I'm getting ready to go for work. So normally when I'm getting ready for work, I just leave her in her cage, or I'll actually put her in the cruiser, because the whole time I'm getting ready for work, she'll just be punching my pocket where her toys are, or she'll just be circling me, which makes it a lot harder just to get dressed. It's like a 3-year-old hanging on you.
How old is she?
2. She turned 2 May 25th of this year.
Do they start out like right from the start and training her
as
a puppy, and they know this is what they're going to want to do, and their intentions for her to become a K9?
Yeah. So she came from France, and we were told in our 6 weeks of training that in France they train them, I think, from like 6 months. They start right when they're puppies. It might have been 6 months or 6 weeks. I can't recall. But they, in France, they train them for obedience and their bite work over there.
Yeah. Well, they have to make sure that the dog is going to be fit for what they are intended to use them for, I'm sure. So, because I'm sure just like anybody, if I go out in there, I'm not making sense and I'm not going to work, I'm not going to be a doctor.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You got to have the right skills, I think, and then of course the training definitely. So, do you train with her all of the time? Is it at home? Do you do other training with her? How does that work?
Yeah. So I can do training during my shift. You can do several different things. She's trained in tracking. Building searches, handler protection, and narcotics.
Okay.
So there's several things that we train, but her and I do go once a week to training with the whole training group from Storm Dog Tactical.
Okay.
So all the dogs and handlers that go through Storm Dog Tactical, he has a training group that we all go to.
Nice.
And it's always just basic different scenarios. We try to get different places. I actually like the way this place looks. Maybe we could come here and train once. It's pretty nice here.
Oh, cool. That would be great. I know. Yeah, we'll talk with James. Figure that all out that. But I know that you had said like you can give her something and she can go search for somebody as well. Like, maybe
so
not
she
today,
does
but
like
a piece of my clothing or a jacket or something.
Yeah, so no, she doesn't have to have any of that. So
she doesn't.
It's just it'd be human odor that if.
So if I just kind of disappeared somewhere, she should be able to go find me.
Yeah. So we would.
Tina had squirrel again. She took off. We don't know where she is.
For like elders or disability people who walk off. Yeah, she would be able to do an air search and track them.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So, because a lot of them are just like, they're going to sniff, out for drugs.
Yeah.
Which, of course, that's one, and a lot of people know for that. But there's so much more.
Yeah, she's a dual-purpose dog.
That.
So she does narcotics and regular police work.
Yeah.
So she can do articles, people who would throw out cell phones from maybe a robbery, a gun, and they think that it got thrown into this field. She would be able to find those articles, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then if we knew where someone ran into the woods, she could track their footprints.
What is the typical span for, like, the career of a canine?
Of a canine? As long as they're healthy. I mean, if they started having seizures, or there's several different things that they could probably be retired for. But I would guess probably 8 years. I'm not
8
really.
years. Yeah.
Not really sure.
Probably depends on what they've been through.
Yeah.
I would imagine. Just
Yeah.
like, again, us.
Because they can break down. I mean, some dogs are perfectly fine when they're 11, and there's dogs that are 8 and their hips are already bad. They're got arthritis real bad. So she looks like a pretty healthy dog, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she's really, really awesome. She's a lot of fun.
Yes,
so
she is.
Just gaining that personal relationship with her, because, I mean, she's your protector as well, right?
Yes. So, our policies at work, like, you know how, like, smacking someone, hey, how you doing? Like, you can't do that to the canine handlers, because she's trained for handler protection, and then it's not given like as a command. She just will do it.
I see.
Responds on, so.
Yeah.
She's a great dog, She is, does keep me safe.
Any of Deputy Webb's old buddies out there, and he's got her around, don't be coming up and slapping him on the head or
That's right.
on the back or pushing him, because it might not be pretty. No, I mean, I'm saying it's lightheartedly, but it's seriously. Don't do it. How is she with the kids at home, though?
Wonderful.
Even
at
if
home.
you guys
When she's at home,
around
I'm out of my uniform.
It's just different.
She's completely different. Playing.
That is really great.
Laying on the ground. Normally she's not chewing on a fire hose. She has that pink Kong I saw, but obviously it was rolling off the stage, so we had to change that up.
So she has her favorite toys?
She has, toys at home. So she has Kongs, and she just chews a Kong all day and put some peanut butter in it, and she'll just go to town for it.
Well, Deputy Webb, I want to thank you so much for taking
Tina.
the time and being with me. And because I don't know, it's like we sat here for a while trying to figure out where we're going to go. I have my gift for you. You are my first responder of the month.
Okay.
So just thank you for continuing to, I feel, do something more for the people in the community, because that's what you're doing. I mean, in order to do this is a big, huge thing, because it was life-changing, I would imagine, for you and your family as well.
It adds more work.
It
does, but it's worth
stop.
it. No, it's worth it.
It is. I think that, it seems to be, and you're teaching your kids so much as well. And bless your wife, because I'm sure she's just such a blessing.
Yes, she is. She loves it. I mean, they all love
awesome.
the dog,
I've met all of them. They're wonderful. So thank you. And First Responder Month is brought to us by Bay Food Market. I want to say that as well. And just keep up the good work.
All right, well, thank you.
And we'll see you and K9 Rafa around sometime.
On the streets,
yes, on the streets. Yes. Doing good and great things for the community.
That's right.
Folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be right back on location at Lancaster Campground, and I'm going to talk to the General Manager, James Ellinger, in just a minute.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
When I volunteer, when I come over here, first thing I think about is my dad. But then also think about all the people that helped us when we were here.
Something brings me here, and I feel that it's my dad's spirit. He wants us here. He wants us to give back because of what I did for him. And I think that's helped me with a lot of my grief.
The support of the people here and the volunteers. That makes it a great place.
It's Down Home with Tina, and I am on location at the Lancaster Campground. Excited to be here. It is such an amazing place. I am speaking with James Ellinger. He is the general manager out here. He's been here for only just, I think, a little over a year. Has it been almost a year and a half?
And 4 months.
Well, okay, yeah, almost a year and a half. And they're doing so many wonderful things out here. And James, I loved it because we were talking before we got started here about how connection of so many families
Absolutely.
from years ago, because even my dad, I was having a conversation with my dad and he goes, oh yeah, I remember that. When I was a kid, we were Methodist and we lived down in Amanda and we would get invited to go to camp and visit out at the campground. And then you were telling me that you had an uncle that knew my dad. And I'm like, seriously?
It's a small world and a connection, isn't it?
It really is. And it's all about here. So how many families and how many years, you know, really have that connection?
It is an amazing connection to find out just the year and just almost a year and a half, not a year and 4 months actually, that I've been here, the connections that we find all the time. Just talking to people in the street, or they see my shirt, Lancaster Campground, or they see us at an event downtown, they're like, my great-great-grandparents went there, or my grandparents, when I was growing up, we all were there, and they had such fond memories. And that's what, it's always really neat, even we're at the fair in our booth, people come up and tell us amazing stories about such great fond memories here. And yeah, I can tell you since I've been here, it's just those little connections that we come across. And we're trying to build on that, restructuring and expanding our different programs. And we're excited that we got these new programs that are opening up to the public. COVID really was a hard time for all of us. But now we are open. Our beautiful pool is open to the public this year, which is really exciting, our first time. But going back in time, 1872, the original start of this was the Methodist Church, which we are open to the public today. That was just the founders of our beautiful lands that we're on today. And they came here and they started their church retreats. And then that developed into the cottage community you see today. And I can say that many people have come up to us, and I think you were here one time, we were walking around and people are like, this is amazing. It hasn't looked like this in a long time. So we are building this structure to be more of that unique cottage experience and have the quaint little village look. So it's pretty neat.
James, you have really done a lot of things, and I know that you have even shared with me at one point that some people are like, you better get that taken care of. James is going to be around. And what I mean by that is that you are really onto making sure that they're following the rules and doing the things to make it a nice place for people to either come just seasonally, because some of the cottages are not winterized, or to stay and live here as their permanent home.
Right. We do have a lot of residents here that are not full-time members. A lot of them, as it started out hundreds of years ago, they would come for the summer and then return to their main homes for the winter. But a lot of people now these days are making these structures here more permanent. And they're called winterized now, so they can be here. So a lot of the living units that are all year long are now renovated into, they've got heating, they've got protection for the water heaters, the pipes. So, but those that are not, those people just still come for a few months, enjoy the summers and return home, and we welcome all types. So,
James, you have the cafe that is currently open. That is a seasonal place to come and eat.
Yeah, along with the Maple Leaf, our great little concession stand by the pool. The cafe is open, and those are open seasonally. We may get to a point someday where we might have a little grocery store on site that we're kind of venturing into discussions about what could support that during the winter time. But there's always plans in place, and I think everybody can see a little bit of difference. Our landscaping has now, as you enter onto our grounds, we wanted to be more inviting and open to the public. We've got more things in process like that, to where somebody can be here all winter long and have the uniqueness that we have today in the summertime.
And you do have the campground. I don't want to forget about that.
Right, and so it's funny, you and I have laughed about this before. It's called the Lancaster Campground, but we don't offer camping here on our properties. That comes from back when it was all historically written and built on that time. They would bring their tents and camp for back then it was the tent church meetings and stuff. And then those tents as permanent turned into cottages. And today what we have is the RV park. And those are fully self-sustained RVs that are on property. Exciting, we are doing so well here and people love our property so much that we're expanding, and we're going to go from 24 sites to hopefully by this fall breaking ground on 19 more sites.
Nice. And are they always full?
We have a waiting list that's about 3 pages long. But the great thing about that is if there is a cancellation, we are going to call somebody back, and a lot of people have been brought to our property from somebody who's not been able to make it for whatever reason or other. But we're just proud that there's so many people that want to come and stay. We do feel we are a unique and a special place. The serenity of the woods, the private, off the road. There's no loud noises and motor boats, and it's just serenity. And if that's what you're looking for in an RV experience, and within the city limits even, you feel like you're in that remote, beautiful place, but we're here right off of Fair Avenue, but serenity.
What building are we in right now, James?
So this is our heartbeat of the Lancaster Campground. This is the Davis Auditorium, and it has been here for many, many years. But over time, they have these buildings that are amazing and built. Just think about the engineering it took to build these. This held at one time over 2,000 people at its fullest time, with the sides that open up to let the airflow in. This accommodated up to 3,000 with standing people outside the auditoriums.
Wow.
And those are the famous names that some people of faith may remember as it was Billy Sunday and those guys that rode in on the horses, and they'd circuit riders and the preachers. People came from all over to come and see those. And we do have a photograph where there is people beyond the walls as far as you could see, all in their ties in the heat of summer. But it's unique where the airflow comes in here. We do have a lot of productions. Last year we were excited. We had Disney's Moana in here. And this year we've just seen a production wrap of the Robin Hood. And that's also by the Performing Arts Downtown, the Alliance Group. Their children come in here and they use it twice a year. And the next production we have coming up here this summer is, or towards the fall, is the Anne of Green Gables series. So that's really exciting. And people, what we love here, when they walk through those doors and they look up and they see the amazing work, their jaw drops, and it is awe-inspiring. And we just invite anybody that comes to our upcoming, later on this year, we will have the open Heritage Days and stuff. Come on up and check us out. The doors will be open. Come and see these beautiful historic buildings. And thankfully, our big renovation in 2019 saw the complete renovation. A lot of local partners here in Lancaster, along with Sherman-Williams, who donated and painted the entire outside. A lot of efforts went through to restore this amazing building and to see what you see today.
Yeah, it's really, really great. And not only can folks come and follow and find out what's going to be on, because they've got to have tickets, right?
Sure.
To come to those shows and performances and stuff. But you also have the shelter houses where folks can have family reunions here.
That's correct. So there's a lot of different events going on. Matter of fact, we just had a wedding, our first wedding since I've been here, down in the lower fields, which we call Chapel in the Woods. We are going to be fully restoring that next year, but they went ahead and used it because they love the beauty and serenity of the woods and the open fields, and it was beautiful. Yeah. So we also have the shelter houses. Anybody can come on our beautiful open lawns and rent those out, or even on a date, just come and have a picnic. The only thing is we ask on the weekends that people call the office first, because they may be pre-booked for yard sales or different things like that, family events. We have the activity center. That is used for receptions. It's fully air conditioned. It's a huge room with kitchen, bathrooms. We also have the lodges, and those sleep the band camps. There's a lot of band camps that come here, and we're proud to announce that we've acquired a new school from Cincinnati who will be coming this year. So people love us, and I think that the enthusiasm that we all show and this little bit of new energy that's coming in here is going the right direction.
You're continuing to grow and offer more. I know at one time you were like, we just want this to be where people can come and also live and walk around and enjoy it, and everything is like like the Rockefeller kind of picture thing where you have
Norman Rockwell,
you know,
I say,
Rockwell, Rockwell, that's what it was. I was like, what did he say? It was so, you think of that when you come here.
Sure.
Because if you are not from here and you don't live in the area, then you're going to probably just, people see you. And if you aren't living here, they're going to know.
Sure.
But they are welcoming. I mean, they don't
Oh,
run
absolutely.
you off unless you cause trouble.
And that goes back to a little bit about what you said about the rules. We have rules in place as to protect our citizens here and our association members. When you come through and you apply to live here at the Lancaster Campground, you go through a background check, and we do that so that everyone here is safe. A lot of people have lived in different neighborhoods in town, and they don't feel like they can just let their kids outside and play. We go through all the extra steps to make sure that all residents that come on the ground have passed their background checks, and that all of our children are, for those Norman Rockwell-esque days, to go out and run around. And then there's a lot of grandmas and a lot of moms in the village that as you go down the little walking streets, they all kind of look out for everybody. And it's a great experience. I've interviewed a couple of people who've grown up here and since have moved away, and they said they think fondly on remembering the days growing up here at the Lancaster Campground.
The contact information for folks, James.
So it's lancastercampground.org is our website, and they can email us at any information at contact@lancastercampground.org.
Thank you so much for accommodating
You're
me
welcome.
being here as well. So thank you.
Welcome.
Folks,
thank you for being here.
Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's Down Here with Tina.
Being a first-time parent is very nerve-wracking going into the hospital. You don't really know what to expect. The nurses, the staff, the doctors, everyone at Fairfield Medical Center was very attentive. They just put my mind at ease. They answered any questions we asked. They supported us through the whole delivery, the post-delivery, our stay in the hospital. We felt like we were part of their family. I wouldn't have put myself or my daughter in anybody else's hands. Experience Fairfield Medical Center.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Down Here with Tina is brought to you by these amazing sponsors. Folks, I am out here at the Lancaster Campground, and I'm going to just go ahead and we're going to go out in the show with a demonstration by the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, K9 Rafa, and his handler, Deputy Jordan Webb. And I hope you have a great week. And there's a bug on me, you know, because that's what happens when you're outside. But folks, I'm trying to keep my composure, but it's really hard. So you have a great week. Enjoy.